Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. This is a video for Regents Do Now number 2. Okay, so remember the new rule is that you're going to now post these worksheets for the Do Nows onto Google Classroom because this is the only classwork that you technically have now. And again, your homework is just going to be the actual Regents exam itself. So this is what I want you watching the video on. This is what I want you posting. All right, so Do Now number 2 is going to be on conversion. So you saw that I attached this to the worksheets for today. This would have been the reference sheet that's going to be on all the Regents, so you would have seen this. And what we're going to use this top portion up here. This is basically the only thing that kids tend to use on this reference sheet for the Algebra 1 Regents, and we're going to use that today. So that's why I attached that. Okay, so for conversions this year, it might be a little different than what you guys are used to. We do something called cross simplifying. So cross simplify in order to answer these questions. Okay, so if you've done conversions in the past, maybe in 7th grade or science, I don't know, it's going to be a little bit different this year. So they tend to be a little bit on the tough side, so just hopefully you guys understand, and again, try your best. All right, number 1, John has traveled a total of 4.5 miles. If there are 5,280 feet in each mile, how many feet did John travel? This has to do with proportion and the multiplying, but we're just going to do the multiplying part. Okay, so you have to figure out what you're starting with. So you're starting with miles, and you have to see what they want. They want feet. You notice I highlight a lot on this worksheet because this really helps. All right, so we're going to go from miles to feet. Okay, and what's nice is that this one actually happens to already give you the conversion. Sometimes they give it in the question, and sometimes you have to actually look for it. So it all depends. Okay, so we're going to start with what we're given and the 4.5, and we're going to multiply by a ratio. Remember, ratio is just fancy for fraction. So we're going to multiply by a fraction. And what we're going to multiply by is this fraction right here. And what it's going to allow us to do is what's called, again, cross simplify or cross cancel. Some teachers probably say. So our goal is to get rid of the miles and make it into feet. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to put whatever you see here, which is miles, you're going to put that on the bottom because we are going to cross. Remember, think of like cross multiplying as you're multiplying like kind of like opposite. It's the same kind of thing, but we're going to cross simplify. So each mile, meaning each meaning 1. And then we're going to put the 5,280 feet on the top. Okay, so 5,280 feet goes on the top. So now what happens is you can cross simplify. So these two diagonally are allowed to cross out. Nothing horizontally, nothing vertically, only kind of like you did fractions, I guess, in elementary school. I think you actually did this. Only diagonally are allowed to cross out. So what happens is those two units cross out and you're left with feet, which is what you want. So now you're good to go. So you're going to multiply the numerators together and then multiply the denominator separately. So 4.5 times 5,280 is 23,760, and then nothing times 1 is 1. I should not say nothing because that's technically 0. And then you bring over your unit. So this is going to be 23,760 feet. And that was cross simplifying. So again, you're crossing out things that are the same diagonally. Okay, so that's the first one, basic one. Number 2, if there are exactly 2.54 centimeters in each inch, how many centimeters are in 1 foot? So now this is definitely going to start getting a little more complicated, okay? So how many centimeters, that's what you're looking for, are in 1 foot. So we're going to go from feet to centimeters. So half of this is given, and then half we have to figure out, okay? So again, always write first what you're starting with, what you're actually converting, and you're converting 1 foot. And now we're going to start multiplying by the ratios or the fractions. Okay, so we have to go from feet to centimeters, okay? And here they're telling us, it's not telling us how many feet are in centimeters, so that can't help us like the one up here did. So we have to go feet to inches and then inches to centimeters. Now, unfortunately, there's nothing about inches and feet here, okay? This is something that you are expected to know, and hopefully you do know that there are 12 inches in each foot, okay? So we're gonna go from feet to inches and then inches to centimeters, what we're gonna do. Okay, so what we're going to do is cross simplify. So the feet are going to go on the bottom, so they cross out, and the inches are going to go on top. Okay, so 1 foot, 12 inches, 12 inches and 1 foot. Okay, so now that gets rid of this and this. It doesn't touch the numbers stay, it just gets rid of the units. All right, now we have inches, so we're getting there. Now we have to go from inches to our final answer, centimeters. Now we can use the given. Okay, so again, I want to be able to cross out inches, so not horizontally, it has to be diagonally. So the inches are going to go here, and what I want is on the numerator. So each inch meaning 1 and 2.5. And now that crosses out this inch with this inch, and you're left with what you need. So you're going to multiply all the tops and then all the bottoms. So 12 times 2.54 is going to be 30.48. 30.48 over 1. That's 30.48, and that is centimeters. Okay. Number 3, we're going to skip. It has a lot of the same conversions as other ones that we're going to do, so I don't want to waste our time. All right, number 4. These each eventually just kind of get tougher and tougher, so try your best. So convert a speed of miles per hour into feet per second, and they do give us one piece of information, which is nice. Okay, so these are definitely a little bit harder when you have starting off with a fraction. So miles per hour has to go to feet per second. Okay, so we're starting with 45. Again, always start right first, which is what you're starting with. 45 miles in 1 hour. Okay, so 45, let me write it a little bit neater, sorry. So 45 miles for 1 hour. Okay, now we're gonna start multiplying. Remember, there's no equal sign, nothing, it's just you're multiplying by another ratio. All right, let's see, we have feet and miles. Oh, so that's good. Actually, this will help us because we want to get rid of miles and we want to get to feet, so that's perfect. So again, I want to get rid of miles, so it has to be diagonally, and then the feet's going to go on top. So 1 mile is 5,280 feet, and I'm actually surprised they give that in a lot of these because that is one of your conversions on here, so I'm surprised they give it. Okay, that crosses out. Good, so now I'm at the feet. Good. Now I have to change hours to seconds. They never give time on that sheet ever. They expect that you should know. Okay, so I need to go to seconds, but there is no direct conversion from, well, I guess there technically is, but we don't ever want to go from hours right to seconds. We want to go from hours to minutes and then minutes to seconds. So I want to get rid of hours. So I want to put the hours on top, and it is okay that these are in separate and not next to each other fractions. So hours can be converted to minutes, and then I'll do minutes to seconds. So there's 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 60 minutes in 1 hour. And what that allows me to do is get rid of this unit and this unit. Okay, so I have my feet, which is good. Now I have minutes, but now I have to go to seconds. Okay, so I want to get rid of the minutes. So diagonally put the minutes, and I want to keep the seconds. Remember, diagonally is what cancels out. So there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So this minute crosses out this minute, and there's my feet and my seconds. So everything on the top gets multiplied, everything on the bottom gets multiplied. Okay, so we have 45 times 5,280, and that's 237,600 feet, right? We got a feet on top. Oh, let me put this in centimeters, whoops. Feet on top, and then 60 times 60 is 3,600 seconds. And if you divide that in the calculator, you get 66, and it'll be feet per second. So 66 feet per second. All right, so again, this is the way the Regents likes it, and you'll see on the next page there's some multiple choice questions, and that's how the Regents sets it up. So, all right, so that was miles to feet and hours to seconds. So really we had like a minutes in between there. All right, 5. A local factory has to add a liquid ingredient to make their product at a rate of 13 quarts every 5 minutes. How many gallons per hour of ingredients do they need to add? Okay, well, they're not giving us a lot at all. All right, so quarts per minute is what we're starting out with, and we want to go to gallons per hour. Okay, so we're starting out with quarts per minute, so that's this. So 13 quarts in 5 minutes, and you're multiplying. Okay, so what can we get rid of? So they always start with, you know, the quarts and stuff like that. So there's nothing on here that talks about quarts to gallons. Okay, nothing, but let's check this. See anything here. Oh, look, there we go. 1 gallon, 4 quarts. 4 quarts, 1 gallon. That's going to help me. It's got what I am starting with, which is the quarts, and what I need, which is the gallons. Okay, so I need to get rid of the quarts. So put the quarts diagonally. So it's 4 quarts and 1 gallon. And that's going to get rid of the quarts. I have my gallons. I'm halfway there. And now we want to go from minutes to hours, okay? So I want to get rid of the minutes, so I have to do it diagonally. So, and I want to put the hours on the bottom so I can keep that. Those are going to cross out. And there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And then I have my gallons per hour. So I multiply all the numbers on the top, gets me 780 gallons. The numbers on the bottom gets me 20 hours. Divide those in your calculator and you get 39 gallons per hour. All right, hopefully the more we do, the better you'll get at these. Okay, question number 6. How many centimeters are there in 1 yard if there are 2.54 centimeters per inch? All right, so it looks like we are going to go from yards to centimeters on this one. All right, so they do give us a conversion, centimeters to inch. But that's not going to actually help us because we would need yards to centimeters, so that's no good. So we're definitely going to start with the 1 yard. And now we have to think about what's going to help us get to inches so we can get centimeters. So sometimes you kind of have to work backwards a little bit. So what do we know about inches? So we know from above that 12 inches is a foot, right? So 12 inches equals 1 foot. Is that going to help us though? I still need yards. So feet to yards. Let's see. So we have anything on here that's feet to yards? No, they don't put it. Okay, so there is a conversion that I guess they expect you to know besides 12 inches to foot, but there's actually 3 feet in 1 yard. So we're actually going to go from yards, okay, to feet, and then we're going to go from feet to inches so we can go inches to centimeters. So sometimes you kind of have to work backwards. So again, you see what they give you and what you start with. So inches, I know I can go to feet, and now I know, okay, well, feet, I can go to yards, okay? But you have to know that this is what you're starting with. So that's what you want to get rid of first. So you know you're going to have to use this one first, okay? The yards to the feet. So there's going to be 1 yard in 3 feet. And what that allows you to do is cross those out. Okay, so now I know I have feet. I got to use something that's with feet. Well, I already used this one. Now I'm going to go feet to inches. So again, the feet are going to go on the bottom so they can cross out, and the inches on the top. So that's 1 foot. It's going to be 12 inches, 12 inches in a foot. So those cross out. And now, well, now I got to the point where I needed inches to centimeters. So inches is going to go down here, and centimeters is going to go here. Okay, so if you multiply across all of those numbers, you're going to get 91.44 centimeters. And on the bottom, it looks like it's 1, and that's going to get 91.44. So sometimes, again, you kind of have to like work backwards. Or here, you know you have yards. So the first thing you're going to write down is yards, right? So you started with yards, and you're going to have to get rid of yards. So you think, okay, well, what do I know about yards? It has something to do with inches. Okay, inches is, you know, feet. Oh, okay, there I go, feet to yards. So sometimes working through it and talking through it is going to help you. Sometimes going backwards is helping you. All right, hopefully these are okay so far. Let's go to number 7. Next page. Number 7, if there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram and 554 grams in a pound, how many pounds are there per kilogram? Round to the nearest tenth of a pound. Okay, so we're going from kilograms to pounds, LBS. You notice a lot of things I'm writing are all the abbreviations for them. All right, so we're going to start with a kilogram, and we've got to get our way to pounds. But they are giving me a lot. They're giving me grams to kilograms, and then grams to pounds. All right, so this looks like we're going to go from kilograms to grams, and then grams to pounds. Okay, so I want to get rid of the kilogram, so that goes diagonally. And then I'm going to put the 1,000 grams on the top. Again, that gets rid of that. And then we're going to go from grams to our pounds. Oops, that should be a multiplication sign. We're going to go from, okay, I want to get rid of the grams, so that's got to go diagonally. And I'll put the pounds on the top. So that's 454 grams in 1 pound. So that gram and that gram. Remember, you can only simplify, meaning across diagonally. And that gives me my pound. Yay. So multiply the tops and multiply the bottoms. So you multiply across, that's going to get us 1,000 pounds. Multiply across here is 554 grams. And in the calculator, I don't have this number, 1,000 divided by 454, that's going to be 2.2 to the nearest tenth. 2.2 pounds per gram. All right, a couple more. All right, so number 8. Nick is a sprinter who can run the 40-yard dash in 4.5 seconds. He converts his speed into miles per hour as shown. Which ratio is incorrectly written? So this came directly from a Regents question a couple of years ago. And notice how it's already set up for you. That's why teachers teach them to you this way with the fractions, because we know how they're going to look on the Regents. Okay, so we're going from yards over seconds, and we're going to go to miles per hour. So what's really nice about this, you don't have to do any work. It's already done for you. You just see which one is written wrong, okay? And if you know that you're only allowed to cross out things that are diagonal, you can get this right. So it's going from yards to feet, feet to miles, and then you're converting, because then we get the miles, and then we're converting those seconds into hours. So remember, you can cross out diagonally, so yards with yards. And then, again, I got to get to miles. I got to get rid of this feet. Feet with, oh, wait, that's not right. Are you allowed to cross out when they're next to each other horizontally? Nope, that's not what I taught you. So this should have been this way. This should have been 5,280, This should have been 1 mile over 5,280 feet. And then what that would have let you do is cross out that foot with this foot. And then you would have had your miles on top. So this one right here is the no good one. It needed to have been flipped, okay? If it was flipped, then you can cross out the feet that's on the top with the feet that's on the bottom. What it is right now, that's no good. You're not allowed to cross out if they're right next to each other. All right, number 9. Dan took 12.5 seconds to run the 100-meter dash. He calculated time to approximately, and this question also came from a Regents. These were both multiple choice on the Regents, okay? So this one you're going from seconds to, well, we really weren't sure. It's either going to be minutes or it's going to be hours. So I wasn't really crazy about this one, but it is what it is. Okay, so we're starting with seconds first, and we know we have to go from seconds to minutes before I can go to hours. So let's start there first. So if I want to get rid of seconds and I want to see if my minutes are correct. Again, this won't be on the reference sheet. They expect you to just know this. So there's going to be, 60 seconds and 1 minute. Okay, that crosses them out. So let's check if this is right. So this would give me 12.5 over 60. 12.5 minutes over 60. 12.5 over 60 gets me 2.2083 repeating. And that would be correct. So there you go. So it's the first conversion, which is nice. All right, last one. This is also a Regents question. Again, notice how all the multiple choice are in that ratio form. That's so we can cross simplify, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, a construction worker needs to move 120 feet cubed of dirt by using a wheelbarrow. One wheelbarrow load holds 8 feet cubed of dirt, and each load takes 10 minutes to complete. One correct way to figure out the number of hours he would need to complete the job is, okay, so we're going from feet cubed to actually hours. I know it sounds really weird, but we're going to go from feet to load. Okay, you're going to go feet to load, and then we're going to go from load to minutes, and then minutes to hours, because they did give us what we need, loads and feet, and then loads and minutes. So this is what allows us to do this. Okay, so we're going to go from feet. Okay, so they all set out the same way. And now we're going to go to loads. Okay, so we know that in order to go from feet to load, we have to be able to cross out feet. So that's no good. That's no good. That's no good. And this is good. Okay, so that's good right there. That crosses out that. Then that leaves us with load. And then we said load to minute. So load, there we go. Those cross out. And then minutes cross out, and it gives us our hours. So this is correct. This is correct. So what was nice is that these were all next to each other. So it's kind of very easy to figure it out. Sometimes it'll be where they are far from one another. Like this feet could cross out this feet. This load could cross out this load, but I can't cross out the minute. So that's no good. Here, feet, I can't cross out. That's no good. Same, so that's no good. So it's kind of a process of elimination. Again, they don't have to be directly next to each other to cross out. Like if I go back to number 8, I only showed you as far as this, yards and yards, feet and feet. But see how the seconds are not anywhere near each other? You kind of almost have to skip over 2 of them to cross them out. That's okay. Even though sometimes they're directly next to each other, sometimes a little further, that is all okay. All right, so make sure you post these 2 pages so you get credit for today's classwork, and make sure you're working on that Regents and then posting that when you are done. All right, if you have any questions, reach out. But this was really good Regents review, so have a great day. Bye.